funny hearing the voices coming back, and I'm not quite sure what John's doing, but okay.
Joseph, I remember you from Anson's room yesterday. Oh no, Joseph, are you on an Android? We can't hear you. Sometimes it's just a Clubhouse glitch and you can leave and come back and then it will work. But I heard that Android users are having this issue right now. Try the leaving, like exiting Clubhouse and then coming back into the room and see if that works. If not, like I said, there is apparently a known Android issue. Oh, yeah. Are you on an Android? Yeah. I guess they've all been having issues with it all day long. We actually had somebody else. Sean. Sean's chat warrioring up right now, too, because he can't talk either.
It's so good that Sean can't talk. Now, be quiet,
Not too much on Sean.
Shut the hell up, Sean.
You see what he's doing there, Sean.
He gave a shit about it, but talk shit in the chat.
You know, you could sit here and just say whatever you wanted to, and he couldn't say a word. Let's face it. I know if Kitover got stuck in that situation, I know exactly what I'd say to him to get him all kinds of triggered. I would just be like, John, if I asked you not to stream, would you accommodate me? And he'd lose his mind.
It is what it is, right? People have their, like what you do. You give everybody the same kind of energy. You can sit up here and you talk crazy to everybody, right? Which I can respect.
Not everybody. Right? So
well, you know what I mean. Like everybody's, like every race, every particular individual.
Sure, but it's like, but if you've ever caught on to me, like I do, it's gonna be specific. If I really go out of my way to like really make fun of people like I did tonight, it's because, personally they did something that I don't like them. But when it comes to even how I will purposely like avoid cussing even in the presence of certain people, just because I know those people that really bothers them. So I will troll and give shit to specific people. But I have to find like where that line is for different people. So I usually, I don't just go off on anybody.
No doubt. I'm just sitting up. The only reason why I came up here was just sit up here and let you know that, look, there's a certain reason why certain people like that, like Abby, like Monica, like certain other people that, there's a reason why a lot of people have issues with these characters, El Normo, so on and so forth.
What is? I mean, I can see with El Normo because he has fun doing his debating, and he does have, I would say, annoying debate tactics. But what has Abby said that's like? It was that she stands up for Israel. I get that, but most of the conversations I've had with her have been more like her. And she's basically trying to, I don't want to say too much, trying to look out for the safety of Jewish Americans, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, ain't nothing wrong with that specifically. That's not the issue. It's just the issue is, I just don't understand how someone can play victim when they try to. And I'll just, I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm not going to sit up here and go on a diatribe, but I just don't like how someone can sit up here and play victim while they themselves is actively taking advantage of certain people. And I'll just put it that way. Especially when I'm related to a specific group of people you're taking advantage of. So that's all I'm saying. So with that being said, do you have anything to say about, let's say, somebody like Monica? Any negative things to say about that?
Well, she's not here to defend herself. But I know I'm saying things, but because it's my room and I'm deliberately doing it. But I would say with Monica, I think she knows how to walk a line in order for there to be like enough plausible deniability that she's not being, I don't know, racist, I guess you can say. I think she knows what she's doing, and it irritates a lot of people. A lot of people will say, well, either just come around the fence with it and say what you really mean, or I don't know, why would she constantly bring up like the topic she would bring up?
But you understand why she's despised by a lot of people on this app too, right?
Yeah, for that reason. She hits on a lot of it, especially like with black people. She kind of like with a lot of those topics, she would say she walked the line, whether or not she was just like masking being racist or not. And I think, and I understand, because even I still get those that impression of her.
I mean, look, it's cool to be a racist to me, as long as you own it. That's another piece of shit, morbidly obese, 350-pound, scumbag that'll sit up here and throw rocks and then hide her hands, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like,
Well, she's taken some shots at me recently, so but let's not talk about her anymore.
Yeah, not a problem.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna drop down, but I was just giving you a couple candidates for people that you can blast if that's.
Well, I do think there's two groups on this app that definitely, I'll just say it, the Zionists and the pro-Palestine side, that you guys really don't like each other very much, and I don't. I understand why you guys don't like each other, but it's not really like It's not something I feel super personal about. Like I don't feel like it's attacking my identity.
Oh yeah, no. I was just sitting up here saying, I thought you might have to run in with that person because that person claims to be so-called conservative, but
what makes you think she isn't? I've talked to her. She's definitely conservative.
I mean, look, mind you, I really don't play the political party game of conservative or liberal or whatever, moderate or whatever. But based off of the way she looks, all right, she looked like the one that leans left. Not saying that she wears blue hair, but she physically look like.
I'll say
like
this: she definitely. Since I've known her, always been more right wing, and in fact, she's somebody who I'd say is like the target of lefties on this app, and has been, and she's been fighting with them all the time in certain rooms, and like even yesterday, do you know who Tira, the attorney, is?
Yeah, I've seen her in the room before,
and she's like a pretty sharp woman, right? So is Abby, and she was definitely wasn't. I guess that one wasn't too. That was more about the Constitution and like the law, but it wasn't really left versus right. But maybe that was a bad example. Yeah, I don't quite see that part. I mean, she could be to the right of me. Even I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've seen her in rooms multiple times going at it with people who would lean right, like Brad, like other people. I mean, what? I know you have an issue with Brad, or I don't know. I'm not
Brad and I get
paying
along.
that much of attention. Huh?
I don't. I think she gets along with Brad as far as I remember.
Oh hell no!
I'm serious.
No, I don't know about that. But no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, she's, look, she's a character on here that, although she claims to be conservative, so-called, she has run-ins with a lot of different people that are so-called conservative or right-wing. I've seen him talk real bad about that bride, directly. So I'm just saying that I've seen other right wingers on here talk crazy to her because, at the end of the day, she fakes the fun, So
I don't. I've not seen this happen. That's why I'm trying. I don't even know who it would be. I mean, I would have to ask Brad. I'm not familiar with any of this happening.
No doubt. I'll drop down. I was just giving you some candidates,
No worries.
The family's first offense is the second offender. Help support the second offender.
So yeah,
by joining today.
as far as I know, I was talking about some of the sluts that are on the right wing. Holy shit! Now I'm trying to think what I was talking about. Yeah, I was putting headshots on people because I'm bored, and this account will probably get clipped. I see all of the. Oh, we got resistance up here. This should be interesting. I saw a picture of you, resistance. The beard and all.
Yes, I'm the biggest threat to the Zionists.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Because
You look like you can eat all the food aid.
I also look like I could beat the shit out of Christians and Jews
Wow.
with impunity too.
Really?
Yes.
But didn't you get arrested for it?
I got acquitted also.
Oh wow. Why do you want to beat up Christians?
Because you got piece of shits like Marco Rubio who state the Palestinian children who got bombed by American bombs can't come over here and get treated.
So you're gonna take a shot at La Raza, your fellow hombres, because they support Israel?
He's not my hombre. He's a white boy.
Is he? Wow.
Yes. He's a white American. Nothing Cuban about that cocksucker.
Oh, his family's not Cuban?
If that's what they want to so-called identify, they look like white Americans' ideology to me.
Amazing. What is your plan to destroy the Zionists?
People. Well, our plan to destroy the Zionists is that once Bibi Netanyahu gets thrown in the Hague or gets killed, either or, preferably, hopefully he gets assassinated. But after that, we have to dismantle the Israeli government, the far right. They all got to get imprisoned.
Amazing. Who's going to imprison them?
The Jews, the Israelis.
Oh, so the Jews are going to lock up their fellow compatriots too?
Well, they're not their fellow patriots. They're the ones harming their country. They can't be patriots if they're bringing death and destruction to Israel.
So on October 7th, should they have just said, oh no, this is like, yeah, guys, just keep on doing what you're doing. Yep, go ahead, just kill people.
They let them kill people.
Oh.
Why did it take them 6 hours to get to the border?
Amazing.
Israel literally allowed Hamas to go in there and kill innocent people just so they could try to steal land.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, how much did Israel deserve what happened on October 7th?
1,000.
Amazing. 10 times over the top.
Yeah. They deserved it. They deserved the attack. You're not talking about the guerrilla tactics though, right? You're talking about just the attack itself.
Yeah, just what everything they did, just like in totality.
Well, no, see that now you're asking a different question now. No. See, the attack itself is feasible, it's respected, but some of the tactics that were used are not. Just like when certain countries go to war, it could be a just war, but you have idiots within the army or within the government that do terrorists or they do inhumane acts.
Okay. What do you think about synagogues? Should those be allowed to exist? Are you cool with the Jews, or you just don't like Zionists?
Yeah, no, I don't. I hate the Zionists.
Okay.
The Jews are fine. I hate the Israelis and the Zionist Jews.
Okay.
You do know there was thousands of Jewish people living in with the Palestinians prior to the colonial settlement of 1948. So the Jews were fine with the Palestinians.
They weren't always fine.
They were fine. They were there fine for hundreds of years.
Interesting.
Nothing was happening to them prior to 48. Nothing at all. It was those Europeans that came.
There was a few massacres. I mean, there's some fighting from both sides. I mean, I remember reading about that a little bit.
Yeah, because of European mass migration into the land and them trying to settle and take land. That's how the fighting started. Prior to that, everything was fine.
So if there was like an invading army going into Israel, would you join the fight against the evil Zios?
Yeah, of course. The Muslims versus the Zionists. Yeah, we're supposed to invade them and take them out. They brought corruption to the Holy Land. They brought corruption to Jerusalem and Bethlehem and all these historical beautiful places. They made that shit into Sodom and Gomorrah.
Well, I have to push back because I do think if there's going to be like anybody I do think Christians should be the ones that would rule over it.
Well, I don't think that would be logical, especially when we once again took out the Christian supremacy. And,
yeah, that's why we're going to take it. And yeah, so you guys ended up conquering, and so I think the Christians need to reconquer.
Yeah, because conquered justly though, because Christians were committing atrocities. You know that. The Crusades, they were wicked people. The Christians were persecuting other Christians, enslaving them, robbing them.
I'm sure, with the resistance movements, are you Dominican or Puerto Rican or both?
I am Caribbean.
Caribbean, amazing.
Yes.
Narrows it down. Well, I mean, the Reconquista of,
Nah, I'm not we're not from the white part though. We're the indigenous. We're not the Portuguese.
I saw your picture. You actually could pass as like a Pakistani. I saw your picture. I was like, oh, you have a big full beard too.
Yeah, I'm a Muslim.
Amazing.
So when you take on the culture, you resemble the people. But what are we gonna do about the white supremacists in Israel though? How are we gonna stop? Yeah, you don't see how they raise their children?
I mean, more people are brown in Israel than white. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter what color your skin starts turning after a while because you're in the sun. Their ideology is white supremacy.
Relationship with Donald
I keep telling you, I don't really care about the skin too much because you do know they are white. They are Arabs. They're also white supremacists. They are Africans that are white supremacists.
Well, I guess my question would be, when it comes to the white supremacists that exist in Europe and America, a lot of them, they don't allow Jews to become members, and they'll have things like Israeli flag. You probably like these people a lot, actually. And they'll use an Israeli flag as a doormat, and they don't consider themselves when you say the word white supremacist, it's kind of like conflating it to who the term was originally applied to, which are not really.
Yeah, but it's different
really
with the white supremacist elite. do deal with the Jews because they make a lot of money with them. You're talking about the redneck white supremacists, like, you know, the KKK, all the, you know, the barnyard. They hate Jews. We know that, but they ain't got no power. They ain't got no say so.
Well, the elites in America, for the most part, they were not very welcoming, especially in the past, of Jews. They wouldn't even let them live even if they had money, they wouldn't let them
Yeah,
live
but
in the
that's
country
changed.
clubs and shit.
The evangelical Christians are aligned with them now, giving them billions of dollars and, you know, shielding them from prosecution of sex crimes and terrorism.
So are you, I didn't know you were part of that Palestinian news network.
Yeah, man, those are my brothers.
I mean, I do see the little guy that goes around and he like gets in people's faces, but I haven't seen you in any of those videos. So are you guys always ready? It looks like he's ready, willing to fight.
We're always ready for hand-to-hand combat. Absolutely.
Well, here's what I would say about that. When you go across, like, especially people that are not, like, you can't always tell, but I mean, let's just say they're just like everyday Americans. You know, they're probably not Jewish. When you say, "Oh, do you support Palestine?" and they just say, and they shrug their shoulders, I would say the last thing you want to do is be offensive to them if you're trying to win people, you know, to your side, and you definitely don't want to make them feel physically threatened, because then they're going to start associating pro-Palestinians with being, you know, violent and intimidating, and, you know, how would that work to convince people?
Well, we're not trying to convince people.
What's the ultimate goal then?
The ultimate goal is just to bring awareness that you white supremacists are not going to get away with this barbarism anymore.
Well, before you were a Muslim, would you have had a strong opinion, you think, on Palestine and Israel?
Probably not.
So just think about before you were a Muslim, then. Like, these people
I can't
are just
do that, because then I'll be a savage just like them.
How are they savage if they're just not invested in it?
Because that's our culture here in America. We live like animals. We like our sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We really don't care about people's feelings. We're very shrewd. That's American culture. Not really caring about other people and their feelings and their plights.
It's finally.
So I try not to think back on those days of ignorance.
Well, I would say most of us care about the plight of I actually care about the people in Palestine. I don't want to hear about innocent people dying or you know, anything bad happening to them. I mean, I think most Americans are like that, but I think most Americans don't have like a strong sense of which side they should take.
Yeah, but your awareness of the situation over there is not really even because of the Muslim, it's because of the Christian Palestinians, because they're also being persecuted, and you have a connection to Christianity. So that's why you're also aware of it.
Doesn't rise. Videos, Ties recommend.
Well, I would say, yeah, I do have gripes with how it's affected the Christian population. I would say it's obviously a lot different than what you see regarding the situation in Gaza.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is that's what's brought your awareness probably more to the Palestinian issue, because you're like, wow, hold up, they're doing our people like this. Look what they're doing to these people. On top of that, I mean, it's even more horrendous. So, like, that's why I said it's probably that reason why you've, you know, put a little more attention to it. You know, like you said, besides your humanity, that you don't obviously want to just see people being treated like animals.
Well, I'll just be frank about this part. I think the one difference between Christians is that, at least if they're practicing Christians, like on October 7th, we could not do that. Like, our religion would, at least today, that would be just so against our religion that.
Yeah, but you do have Christian senators here in America and other high representation of states and legality that say some of the most heinous and disgusting things. as such as starved them to death.
Who said that?
The Republican Senator
Randy Fine.
Yeah, there you go. Randy
He's a
the fat
congressman.
ass.
But Randy Fine's a Jew.
Yeah, but it's the whole point. He's still American, and you got people in our country to say these things that are part of the government. He's not the only one. There's tons of others, Christians, some Jews. They say these things openly.
I would say pretty much all around America, if you go to any Baptist church, they've brought up how Gaza needs to be wiped out because it's promised to the Jewish people and it fits into their apocalyptic prophecy.
Well, yeah, I'm not a evangelical Christian or a Baptist. I don't really agree with them on their end times prophecy stuff, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you resistance. You know how I will push back, and I'll say that Israel's justified to have a response after October 7th.
But that's technically not true because once again, how can you be in a defensive posture at the same time as since 1948 always being on an offensive stand? It just wouldn't make sense. You're not really technically defending anything.
Well, I would say no. They were. So I would say it's kind of similar.
They created a condition to where their country, men and people, were attacked due to their apartheid and ethnic cleansing and their bombardment of another people. That's why that attack happened. It didn't just happen out of thin air like a terrorist attack. Like, oh, we just hate these people and we're going to attack them because we're sovereign, meaning the Palestinians, West Bank, Gaza, like meaning they were sovereign. They had their own, presidents, their own prime ministers, their own military. That's not the situation. It's a people literally being occupied. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you're an offensive stand. You can't claim that you're doing defending your people. You're not. You're literally bringing harm to your people.
I don't know why people struggle so hard to understand this. Like, Israel is America Junior. They don't need a fucking reason to go into Palestine. They do it because they can. They are the dominant power in the region. Yes, Hamas was a provocation, but this country needed to be eradicated in the first place, right? Life is not fair. The world is not fair. We know the Israelis really don't give a fuck about, whether or not these people are starving to death. Hamas is a threat. They're also a threat to America and the West. And we need Israel to do this dirty work right now and take care of this, right? Like, I think we need to stop beating around the bush. Americans don't actually give a fuck about this. We massacred, 350,000 Iraqis, destroyed their entire country. We have been involved in over 100 fucking wars in the history of the United States. We have massacred, turned governments over across the entire fucking planet. Americans are not people who are kind or care about, diplomacy and the rule of law, blah, blah. That's horseshit, right? We go into countries, we do whatever the fuck we want, and Israel just learned from its daddy, America. Now Israel goes into countries and does whatever the fuck they want.
Well, I just want to say this resistance. I look at it a little bit differently when it comes to. So you brought up. So you're talking about the territory and all of that since 1948, but I look at it when it comes to like what happened on October 7th. So I look at it kind of more similarly to 9/11, where you had a group that ended up committing the terrorist attack, and then you had America responding and targeting that group, which is kind of what they're doing, or trying to do. They also took hostages, which was obviously like, what do you think they're going to do?
But that's absolutely wrong. The people who did 9/11 is not who America went after. They invaded two countries that had nothing to do with 9/11.
So Al Qaeda wasn't in. So you're telling me Al Qaeda wasn't in Afghanistan?
No.
And let's not forget the fact they killed 350,000 civilians in the process. So is what Israel's really doing that much worse than what we did? No, it isn't, right? Israel still has many more thousands of people to kill before they reach America's stand.
I mean, I can't think of any country that where if the attack was committed like on October 7th, where they wouldn't send their military after the group that did it.
But Israel didn't send their military. They ended up just carpet bombing the whole place. They're scared to send their military. They don't want to face Hamas in ground combat. They never have.
They do, but they end up walking into like human mousetraps, or they get their tanks blown out by like a $300 explosive device, and it blows up like a $4 million.
So that's
tank.
what the issue is, Pep. Israel is incapable of fighting a ground invasion against Hamas.
But the ground, you're making it sound like it would just be a battle fought with small arms fire. But even when it comes to the controlled detonations on the ground or from above, they realize that those when they end up
you're a smart and logical guy.
They are booby trapping them, and so the only way to make sure there's no ordnance left is to literally
but once again, you're smart and you're logical. You're telling me there would be more casualties if they just did a more ground invasion other than a bomb, throwing bombs?
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly, that's my whole point.
No, there'd be more casualties, I'd say, fighting at a ground level.
Impossible. Because the bombs, 3,000-pound bombs, blow everything up. If Israel, for example, in the beginning, if they would have told everyone, we're doing a ground invasion starting in the north of Gaza, everyone has to leave to evacuate. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people would have evacuated, and they would have never been in the way of the actual ground invasion of people.
But then why wouldn't they have left?
With bombs,
if that's
you
the
can't
case,
flee anywhere.
Sure, but they did tell them before they bombed it. They told them to leave the north.
And there's but hold on, Pep. You know there's reports that when they told them to flee to these areas, these corridors, they bombed them. The same corridors they said to go through. There's massive reports about this.
I'm not too familiar with which.
I'll put them in a link if you need to see them. Absolutely, they did. There's massive reports of when Israel told people to go to these safe zones, they would bomb them.
They double tapped a hospital yesterday morning. Do you think that they were trying to clear explosives?
No.
Were they trying to clear explosives in the hospital?
I'm going to be honest. I don't quite know what happened there. I only saw like one tweet. I never even read it, but it's something about an open window. I don't know I can't even comment on it because I don't know what happened.
It was a camera on the roof.
You do know that there was something bad to happen, because why did the Prime Minister come out and apologize? What is he apologizing about?
Yeah, I mean, it could it be that they fucked up? Yeah.
They fucked up since the day the fucking the invasion happened. They fucked up.
If you had an employee that fucked up this much, wouldn't you fire him, stop paying him?
But have they fucked up more than another first world military would have?
We're not. I mean, are we comparing it to other atrocities?
Were we that much even compared to, let's say, the United States, where we didn't level fucking cities and towns, and there weren't civilian casualties? I mean, I don't.
That's because the fighting ain't happened here in America, but they did level towns and kill a lot of people in Iraq and Afghanistan.
That's what I'm saying. We're comparing, I want to compare a first world military to another first world military where they've been in a.
Well, for some reason, America just never fights other first class armies. They haven't in a long time since World War II.
And Israel's not fighting one either, so.
This is my point. All they do is terrorist acts against countries that they know can't fight them.
Well, I don't quite look at it. If somebody commits a terrorist attack, it's the responsibility of the military and the government to protect the citizens and to go after those that have caused harm and seek to cause harm to their citizens. So I don't see in any world where. I mean, basically what it sounds like you're asking for is that the just and right thing to have done after October 7th, because they ended up colonizing, however you would put it, the land, they should have just, licked their wounds and just, allow them to be invaded and taken over and leave.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying be some real men, and next time, take your military with all this moral army in the world and your special forces and your special intel that they say is the best in the world, and do a ground invasion. Don't be cowards and bomb indiscriminately hospitals, children's centers, mosques, churches. Like, come on, don't be that coward.
The special forces are like, they're like they're like a fraction of the percent of any modern military. They just do very.
It doesn't matter. They're entering a small strip. The Gaza is not there. Going against our whole country. Okay, let's do 50% of them are all under the age of 18.
So let's do worst case scenario. Israel goes in, they massacre 2 million Palestinians, and now we have peace in the Middle East. Would that really be so?
There will never be peace in the Middle East because Israel is an expansionist colonial idea. They're not going to stop with just Gaza and the West Bank. So
I mean, that expensive shit resistance. Something to consider.
Yeah, exactly, because the resistance is too strong, but they've been trying for decades.
Israel